Responders during the qualification session. So Darren was relegated to the back of the field, made his way to 7th position. That's where he finished the race yesterday. And Braden Eves, who did a great job yesterday from the pole, won race number 1. Time to meet our starting lineup for this USF 2000 race number 2. 20 cars make up this field. Starting in the 20th position from Sao Paulo, Brazil. Driving the bib chocolate car number 41, it's Eduardo Barrichello. Starting 19th from Mexico City, Mexico. And car number 12, driving the D-Force Racing entry, welcome Manuel Suleiman. Starting 18th from Covington, Louisiana. Driving the number 7 Pelican Energy entry, it's Christian Bogle. Starting 17th from Westfield, Indiana. Driving the Indy Dental Group, Loomis car number 40, it's Jack Miller. Starting 16th from Palo Alto, California, driving car number 26 in the Menio Ventures entry, it's Nolan Siegel. Starting 15th from Caracas, Venezuela, driving car number 28, the Andres Carnedares 3G Consulting, it's Anthony Familiaro. Starting 14th from Mexico City, Mexico, in car number 77, driving the Metalloid Corporation entry, Jose Sierra. Starting 13th from Miami, Florida, and car number 3, driving the Lucas Oil School of Racing, the Ticket Clinic, it's Reese Gold. Starting 12th from Mexico City, Mexico, in car number 90, driving the Gateway Systems, Gateway Telecoms entry, Manuel Cabrera. Starting 11th from Stourbridge, England, in car number 5, driving the Excel Labs No Stone Unturned entry, Matt Roundgarrido. Starting 10th, he hails from Oconomowoc, Wisconsin, in car number 21, driving the S-Team Motorsports entry, Yuvan Sunaramurthy. On the inside of row number 5, from Cabai, Brazil, in car number 24, driving the Bruna and Bia entry, it's Bruna Tomaselli. Starting on the outside of row number 4, from Toowoomba, Australia, in car number 73, driving the Dependable Sheds HRX Vision Sports Science entry, it's Cameron Shields. On the inside of row number 4, from Greenfield, Indiana, in car number 27, driving the BN Racing entry, it's Zach Holden. Moving on to row number 3, he'll start on the outside, from Joliet, Illinois, in car number 23, driving the Slick Locks entry, it's Colin Kaminsky. On the inside of row number 3, he hails from Los Angeles, California, in car number 22, driving the Mazda Doric NZ Miles Advisory Partners entry, Hunter McElray. Starting on the outside of row number 2, he hails from Narbonne, France, in car number 14, driving the Metalloid Corporation entry, it's Alex Barron. On the inside of row number 2, he hails from Copenhagen, Denmark, in car number 6, driving the JHOD CSU 1 Cure Lucas Oil entry, it's Christian Rasmussen. And on the front row from Gahanna, Ohio, driving the MDRN Livery Community Choice Financial car number 8, Braden Eves. And on your pole from Deerfield Beach, Florida, and car number 2, driving the Cal Development Keene Architectural Woodwork entry, it's your pole sitter, Darren Keene. So the field aligned on pit lane. Wrapping up circuit cleanup from the Indy Pro 2000 race. We are 1 minute to the command. 1 minute to the command. Quite the run yesterday for Darren Keene. Started in the back of the field, finished 7th. Today, he will start from the pole. Yesterday's winner, Braden Eves, will start on the outside of row 1. And again, Alex Barron with that horrific crash. Corkscrewing down into turn 1, finished last in the field yesterday. We'll start on the outside of row 2 today. So the field ready to roll onto this 14-turn circuit, 1.8 mile. Streets of St. Petersburg, it's round number 2 for this USF 2000 series. The Cooper Tires USF 2000 Grand Prix of St. Petersburg, presented by Andersen Interior Contracting. And now, race fans, it's time for those most famous words in auto sports. Here to give the command, welcome Matt Kurgan of Andersen Interior Contracting.
On behalf of everyone at Andersen Interior Contracting, drivers, start your engines!
Well, you heard the call to fire, ladies and gentlemen. Cooper Tires USF 2000 Championship rolls off the grid to start their second race of the doubleheader here at the Grand Prix of St. Petersburg. Darren Keene, who started 19th after an issue yesterday, raced his way up to 7th. He's pole alongside his teammate Braden Eves, two drivers for Cape Motorsports. Christian Rasmussen and Alex Barron, who barrel rolled yesterday. They repaired the car at Legacy Autosport. He's back on track. Rasmussen with Jay Howard Motorsports Development. Two Pabst Racing drivers in 5th and 6th, Hunter McElray and Colin Kaminsky. Field set out of the final corner. Round number 2 of the Cooper Tires USF 2000 Championship. Lined up nicely. Keene, Eves, yellow flag, no start, no start. Yellow flag coming out, not exactly sure why. Hunter McElray getting into the back of Christian Rasmussen. Actually bumping him coming across start-finish here. Drivers will work their way down, as you can see, into turn number 1. The two white Cape Motorsports cars leading the way.
How about that for Alex Barron, though? We talked about that yesterday, that basically a corkscrew. He did a screwdriver down into turn 1. That car never veered left to right. It went straight,
Yep.
Did a 360, landed on all fours. Thankfully, was fine.
Yeah.
Obviously, we talked about Nate Aranda. He had an incident under caution, complained of back issues, was not cleared to drive today, so we wish Nate all the best. But a wild start. Darren Keene, as we said, that was one of the best drives we've seen
He needed
in
that.
quite some time. Yes, indeed.
Agreed. Yeah, he was able to come from the tail of the field. A couple of yellows yesterday allowed Darren Keene to come from 19th up into the 7th spot. But again, we're looking to get rolling here. As I said, great job for the guys from Legacy Autosport to get that car of Alex Barron back together. The AMR safety team took 8 seconds to get to Barron when he slowed up. Okay, issue for a car. That's the 41 of Eduardo Barrichello, an issue for Barrichello. So we didn't go green for something that happened on the racetrack. The yellow actually coming out because of a driver stalled on track. Eduardo Barrichello in the Miller Vinatieri Motorsports number 41.
He was not credited with a qualification time, so obviously there's some type of problems with that car.
Yeah, it's a shame for Barrichello. Driver had some pretty good runs last year in F4. Was, of course, looking to try to get here into this road to Indy. We'll see him again at the next event, which will be the IndyCar Grand Prix at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway road course. We're still under yellow right now as they work their way around here. Unsure whether or not we'll go back to the double-up formation, 2-wide formation. Some of the great runs that we had yesterday. Bruna Tomaselli in her 3rd year in the series. Fine 6th place result. However, as we said, Keene's going to start on the pole. So again, this, Michael, is one of those opportunities. You know, those drivers were coming out of turn number 14. They were ready to go. The mindset was, I got to punch the throttle and get at this thing. Now they've got to reset themselves mentally. And these are the youngest drivers on the road to Indy, anywhere from 14 to probably about 19, 20, 21 years of age. This is where now they've got to get in their head, hey, what do I do here? I got to focus. I've got to get my mindset back on. I'm cooling down a little bit. And then reset to get back at it once again.
You have that adrenaline that's all built. You're coming out of that final turn, and you're ready to mash the throttle and get going as we see the 41 of Eduardo Barrichello being towed back to pit lane. He has made it back. But now you reset. Now you have to relax. Now you drive a couple laps, make sure these tires are as warm as you can get them.
And clean.
Yeah, clean. Getting all the clag and the debris off your tires. And then you come back around again. Now, you're relying on everybody else in front of you to get a good start. You might be mentally prepared, but someone else might not be. So now you've got to worry about, am I going to come up on slower traffic right out of the gate? Am I going to have to go 3-wide, 4-wide? Do I want to get too far down? We'll find out as the field makes their way through the final complexes of turns, through turn number 11, now 12, now through turns 13. We'll see the pace car momentarily.
As Michael had said, this is decision-making time for these drivers. If those in front do not get the jump they need, that's when you potentially see guys get on the throttle a little earlier than those around them. They'll jump 3, 4 wide. The thing about this airport course, ladies and gentlemen, is you can go 4 or 5 wide all the way down into turn 1. It's pretty slippery on the inside. There's a lot of painted lines on that airport runway, and the grip isn't there on the bottom. We've seen a lot of chaos before. Ideally, we'll cross our fingers and get a clean start. Again, Darren Keene from Boca Raton, Florida on the inside. The Ohio driver, Braden Eves on the outside, and we're punching off. Green, green, green. Great start for the number 2 of Darren Keene. Rasmussen trying to go to the inside as well. Keene on the brakes early. They'll stack up a little bit behind him. Let's see if we get through cleanly. Good so far. Nicely done, USF 2000 drivers. It still funnels, though, Michael, as you know, into turns 2 and 3. They've got to take care of each other through this first complex of corners.
I want to say Colin Kaminsky made a heck of a move starting in that 6th position. I think he was running 3rd as they go 2 wide into turn 4.
Yeah, Rasmussen trying the outside of Darren Keene. He's got him. He's through. Keene a little too tentative there. Went to the inside defensive. I think he should have let the thing ride to the outside. That allowed Rasmussen to get the run. So Christian Rasmussen now goes to the lead, but I know, talking to Darren Keene, very confident in his race car. He just wants to get this thing underway. He doesn't want to force the issue. I think he knows once they get settled in, stretch out a bit, he'll be able to go back to work.
And that's a key. A lot of these drivers not used to starting on these street courses, as we see a 2-wide battle. Nice pass into turn number 10. You just want to get settled in, and if you get by me, so be it. You don't want to lose 3 positions, but you can give up 1 position and attack again.
That pass in turn number 10 was Manuel Cabrera making a move forward. He had an issue yesterday with a throttle sensor, I believe. He's been able to move up a couple of spots, so good for him to get back at it here. They'll work their way down the straightaway once again. Rasmussen with the lead. We'll set the top 10 for you. Christian Rasmussen, Darren Keene. Behind Keene, it's Colin Kaminsky. As Michael said, great run for Colin Kaminsky. Kaminsky goes to P3 for Pabst Racing. Braden Eves off pole sitters, dropping back to 4th. Alex Barron, in 5th. I think he just wanted a clean start. Zach Holden in the 6th spot. Hunter McElroy in 7th. Cameron Shields in 8th. Manuel Cabrera up to 9th. A great start for Cabrera. He goes P9, and Bruno Tomaselli rounding out your top 10. So indeed, the opening laps of what will be a long race here. Still remember, long way to go. 25 laps or 40 minutes. These drivers just settle in, figure out what kind of a car you've got. Driver into pit lane. That's the number 5 of Matt Round-Garrido. Oh, man. He comes to the
drive-through.
Yeah, it looks potentially a drive-through penalty from Matt Round-Garrido. I don't know what happened there. Maybe a jump start. But regardless, he heads to pit lane, and we'll get back on the racetrack in the 19th position.
So the car is starting to warm up those Cooper tires, getting the traction they need. What a great battle coming out of turn number 14. Rasmussen, Keene, Kaminsky, Braden Eves on the charge.
Here comes Keene, Darren Keene. Does he pop out? Indeed he does. Keene going to the lead to the inside. Darren Keene, book it. He's through. Darren Keene taking the lead. What a pass there for Darren Keene. Further back, a pretty aggressive move there as well. I believe that was Manuel Solomon going by Jose Sierra, took away the apex and pushed out on the exit as well.
Did Holden get around Barron as well? There was a couple of passes down there into turn number 1 as they went 2 wide, 3 deep down the front straightaway here in the streets of St. Petersburg.
Same into turn number 4 through 5 and 6. You can see them all going side by side. A lot of 2x2 action here through the tighter parts of this racetrack. Indeed, the leader is Darren Keene, able to come from deep, goes to the apex and won. Darren Keene, who qualified on the pole, retakes the top spot after Rasmussen made a good move on the opening circuit. Keene now looking to see if he has the ability to pull away. Open racetrack in front of him as well. To pass a little further back, I believe that's Jack Miller going to the inside of Anthony Famularo. So Miller in the red number 40 moving his way into 13th position. Good racing early on. You get a 25 lapper or 40 minutes for here, USF 2000. They'll go lap 5 in the books. Look at Braden Eves going to work on Kaminsky. Eves look to the inside of turn number 1, not enough. He's got to give it up. You can see him tuck back in. Zach Holden indeed by Alex Barron as Michael had picked up. Good eye, Michael. Zach Holden out of Greenfield, Indiana, and the number 27 for BN Racing, tucking to the inside, as you said, of Alex Barron, then holding him off down into turn number 1.
That's a great pass. We had a couple of great passes there coming down that front straightaway. Rob called the one further back in the field. 3-way battles going into turn number 4, and we're starting to get settled in, but I think a lot of these drivers starting to figure out what they have, and they're being aggressive in the early portion of this race, albeit we have a lot of racing to go, but trying to get as many positions as they can, a larger field. So thought being, if you're in the back, you want to get them early as opposed to later in the race.
Well, again, with colder tires, these cars aren't supposed to be good right now. Once you get up to the right operating temperatures and the tire pressures, they start to build a bit, cars get a little bit better. It's easy to pass somebody early, the early laps, first 5 or 6 laps, if everybody's car is kind of sketchy and you're able to keep full control of yours. Michael, we do want to give an opportunity. Let's give a shout out to everyone listening around the world right now, watching this broadcast on Road to Indy TV or whatever it may be, because we've got drivers from England, we've got drivers from Sweden.
Oh, Alex Barrett is a great move. Didn't mean to interrupt you. He got around Zach Holden, locked him up way late into the turn. What a great pass by Alex Barrett.
Barron going by, as you said. Big one there for Barron, getting back by Holden. But again, we have drivers, as I said, from all over the world. Australia, we got drivers from Mexico, Argentina, Brazil. I'm telling you, those of you who are following here on Road to Indy TV, maybe you've downloaded the app to your phone. Michael and I say hello, and we say hello on behalf of everyone from the Road to Indy program. We're thrilled that you're able to tune into the action. Darren Keene, rather, a driver in the lead. It was about a half a second last time by.
Lots of great action in the early stages of this race. Darren Keene.
Instead of goose, can I be
Christian
duck?
Rasmussen.
I feel more like a duck. Oh, ringed.
There we see
Sorry,
Darren Keene is advantage over Rasmussen. Now 1 second. Great knee, Zach Holden. That great move around Kaminsky, McElroy, Alex Barron actually. It was Zach Holden that made the move around Kaminsky. That was a battle for third, and then Dean McElroy got around Alex Barron. So some great passing down there in turn number 1 last time by.
Quick comment right now on Darren Keene up front. We just did a Cooper Tire Q&A with the whole team from Cape Motorsports, and Darren Keene, he has just matured so much over the last couple of years. He had the issue, of course, in qualifying for round number 1. The transponder didn't work. He had to start 19th. And every once in a while with a driver at USF 2000 in your mind, he's going to, it's going to be, man, I'm so mad. What am I going to do? And you're worried that he's going to make a mistake coming forward. I'll tell you, Keene, his mindset was just, you know what? I'm good to go. I know I got a great car. I'm going to work my way forward as far as I can. I'm going to see if I can get pole for tomorrow. The mindset change was just fantastic.
I'm going to talk about turn 1 chaos, changing conditions, and veteran
That's
events.
the Andersen Insider?
Working lap 8 of this event. Working lap 8, and that gap of 1 second is now down to 7/10 as Darren Keene and Rasmussen battling the turn number 1. Darren Keene with that great move, using that mentality just to settle in a little bit. Let's get running.
And
he got around Rasmussen, but Rasmussen trying to return the favor right now.
Yeah, you'll just say, Anders, what are the keys to this race?
The whole
or
idea is to put your head down and just keep knocking the laps out. We're only 8 laps into a 25-lapper. We're only to the 3rd wave now. Now you start feeling the car starting to be better. The tire temperatures, the tire pressures are starting to come up. It's going to handle the way you set the car up to handle as you work your way into the second half of this race. Then you can potentially attack.
For what it's worth,
you're really going to feel how much closer you can get
on Hunter Ray
to
and
Darren
Michael.
Keene. It's about 7/10 of a second now between Keene and Rasmussen, 1 and 2. Braden Eames runs 3rd, Zach Holden in 4th, Colin Kaminsky in the 5th spot. Hunter McElroy runs 6th, Alex Barron 7th.
That's insane.
Cameron Shields in the 8th spot, Jose Sierra in 9th, trying to bounce back from his DNF yesterday, and Manuel Cabrera, same. He had a DNF yesterday, now running in the 10th position. Manuel Cabrera in P10. Cabrera started 12th, so a couple position improvements for the driver for Exclusive Autosport.
Kaminsky, McElroy, nice battle.
Yeah, Hunter McElroy, who won the $200,000 scholarship, drives it hard to turn number 1, locks up the right front a little bit, but he gets that job done. That's a pass for the 5th position. Hunter McElroy into P5.
That was a long slide. Potential with flat spotting those tires.
That's what we look for, right? He didn't start to smoke it, lock it up, and then release, lock and release. He held that one for a while. Anytime you hold something for more than, let's say, 50 feet, you got a potential that you've flat spotted that tire. Then, of course, after that, the vibration starts to hit. The car's not going to handle quite as much, and the flat spot allows you to re-lock up the brakes much easier.
So Keane Rasmussen, Braden Eves, Zach Holden, McElray around Kaminsky, Alex Barron from 4th, now to 7th, had an early charge after his incident yesterday. Shields 8th, Sierra 9th, Manuel Cabrera rounds out the top 10. Bruno Tomaselli just outside the top 10.
British F3 car is more like a Pro
Pretty solid battle. A little further back too. Reese Gold, who was 10th yesterday, just 14 years of age for Cape Motorsports.
If salary for some reason,
experience this year for Reese Gold, number 3. He was able to get by Anthony Bagliaro. Cuban Sugar Amuli right there, the pass racing number 21. 3 drivers essentially nose to tail, going at it as they work their way down into turn number 1. Darren Keane about a second ahead now. Christian Rasmussen, last time by, he stretched out another 1/10 of a second. 10 laps down, 15 to go here in USF 2000. Their second race of the doubleheader. Braden Eves from Ohio scoring the race win yesterday in round number 1. Trying to back it up with a 3rd place finish today as they stand on the racetrack, as they run. Braden Eves has that point lead, 54 points to Darren Keane's 47. I believe that's Christian Bogle at the number 5. Or rather, that's Matt Round-Garrido. They got him back out on the racetrack. He's down a half a lap. Still on the lead lap, though. Remember, he had to come in and serve that drive-through, Michael. And again, it's going to be, unless he sees a yellow, it's going to be lots of running around by himself on track.
So the gap was 0.9 seconds. Darren Keane over Rasmussen. That time by, the gap down to 0.8. Then it's Braden Eves, Zach Holden. Everything kind of settling in. McElray, Kaminsky. What does Darren Keane do at this point? Doesn't really have that comfortable lead where he can get into cruise control. Rasmussen kind of saving. As you said, we have 15 now, 14 to go. The process of leading these final 14 laps.
I think that...
Oh, we got caution.
Yeah. Let me answer for you. What I think would happen there, again, when you have that kind of an issue, he wasn't 1.5 seconds out. This yellow is going to change everything. But at 1.5 seconds out, you take a deep breath. At 0.8 of a second, the lead that he did have before the yellow flag, that is when you still stay focused. You're still on the throttle. You can't cruise at all. Being told Christian Bogle potentially in the number 7 in turn number 9. Michael, an issue in turn 9 for Christian Bogle, one of the J. Howard Motorsport Development drivers off track.
Yeah, we're looking back. That's looking back at turn number 10. If it happened in turn 9, we probably would lose him at the exit of the turn, but there, that's looking back to the kink. It's further back to the exit of that turn, and we do have a camera right around that area, but if he's already past that spot, there's really no way to pick that up. But that said, for Bogle, what happens there, and as we talked about, you're carrying the speed through turns 8 and 9 down by Pioneer Park. You want to let off on that steering wheel, let that car unwind and gain as much momentum as you can down that back straightaway Bayshore. The problem is you let it unwind too much, you get a little oversteer, back end could hit the wall, or if you get understeer, you push it right into the wall.
Well, yeah, there's so many scenarios of how you can mess up, and it's such an important corner. You're trying to roll all the speed you can. You either push out or lose the rear, as you said. Now, here's an interesting part of this here. Yesterday, Manuel Suleiman, at the number 12 for D-Force Racing, was able to get on the podium. He had an issue, got into the wall in round 2 qualifying, started 19th. This is a perfect yellow for Suleiman. He's now worked his way up into the 12th position. It's going to be a top 10 finish. He'll be ready to attack. Manuel Suleiman's definitely been one of the interesting surprises, I would say, to start the 2019 season. He's been very quick out of the gate.
And that's been a 12-lap battle for him to pick up all those positions. So he has been working hard from the start of this race, nearing that halfway point right now. By the time we go back to green, we will be halfway. So picking up that many positions, goal being, and with everybody packed up again, he could easily get in that top 10, maybe to where Darren Keane ended up yesterday in that 7th position.
He earned those 7 spots, really fighting his way up. This is going to allow him to reset as well and now say, okay, who have I got in front of me? You know they'll be on the radio telling him exactly who's in front of him. They'll know the kind of lap times that those drivers were turning, so he can say, hey, listen, you're a second quicker, you're a half a second faster. You know where to get these guys. Take your time. Again, another recovery effort. Yesterday you were on the podium. You did a great job. We've got that locked and loaded. It's what you got to do today. This is where you get yourself back into the championship by putting in a good effort. Anything in the top 10 really would be good for Suleiman.
So our first caution of race number 2, the Cooper Tires USF 2000 Championship. Darren Keene led them down, had the pole, lost the lead to Rasmussen. Braden Eves, who started on the outside of row number 1, was relegated to the 3rd position. So Rasmussen moving from the inside of row number 1, able to get the lead, and then again about 3 laps into it, Darren Keene able to regain that position. A lot of great battles between Zach Holden, Hunter McElroy, Colin Kaminsky, Alex Barron. That battle for 4th through 7th has been a very spirited one for at least 8 to 10 laps of this race as far as the drivers will move back and forth. Colin Kaminsky making that bold move from that 6th position on the start of this race. 3, 4 wide on the outside, and as everybody checked up, he was able to let that car roll through. That got him to 3rd. He's back to 6th. This is the time if you want to really take advantage. Risk reward, right? It's the risk reward. It depends on how aggressive you want to be. You could look like a hero. You could become a zero in the matter of 300 feet.
And the first brick that has to fall is, where does Darren Keene go? Does he get a good jump? If he gets a good jump, he can go inside, he can go outside. He knows he's okay. He's going to have a spotter saying, you're clear, roll through the corner as best you can. If he all of a sudden goes defensive to the inside, you're going to see the guy in 3rd go all the way to the outside. It's what Keene does that kind of sets what everybody else will do as they set to come down to go green.
We've seen passes on the inside in turn number 1. Yeah. We've seen passes on the outside in turn 1 as well. You'll have the advantage going into turn number 2 if you can make it stick. Turn number 1, as we said, not as much grip down there. If you're Darren Keene, obviously you have your preference of what lane you want to go. When do you choose that lane?
I think really early, the minute you come out, you punch off. And if the punch off is significant and your team can see it and they know, or you're looking in your mirrors, you can see if you've got a bit of a gap. You know if you're grabbing, if you're hitting your marks in the gears. Remember, they're grabbing gears here. You got to hit at that right RPM. If you haven't over-revved, if you've done exactly what you need to do, you know your car's going to keep pulling, right? At that point, you say to yourself, okay, hey, wow, I just didn't do quite as well there. I got to go back to the inside. Or, wow, that felt really good. I'm to the outside. That's the mindset. They just have to react. Darren's got to react to what he's doing in the car. Everybody else is going to react to Darren.
How dependent is the restart in the lane you choose on the jump you get coming out of turn number 14? If you get a bad jump, does that change what you're thinking mentally because you know they're going to be attacking?
Oh, yeah. But the minute you come out in turn number 14, if you don't think you got the jump, you're going to the wall. You're coming down to the pit lane wall. You're going all the way across the track from left to right because you have to defend on the inside. Now, for those of you who are around here enjoying yourself at the track right now, or those of you who are watching on the Road to Indy TV app, if you're on the app, you might know a little bit already, but if you're just here to have a great time, you're not allowed to make a second move. That's the block. You're allowed to come out onto the straightaway. If Darren makes the move all the way down to the inside of the track, that's his one move. He can't come back out to set up for the corner, and essentially that's blocking. You can make the defensive move, run the defensive line on the inside, but you can't come back out. So that's a little bit of the issue that we're dealing with for Darren Keene. Actually, he's dealing with it. We're just back here talking about it.
Christian Bogle's car on the hook. They're taking it back to the paddock area.
That's left rear action.
Yep.
I think you're right. I think the car stepped out on him coming out of turn number 9. A little bit of oversteer, exit oversteer, front end bit little much. He let the thing, and remember, you're going over the crown of the road coming across there as well. Over rotates, tap the wall. He's not the first person that's done it. He won't be the last.
You can tap, you can slap, you can hit it really hard, just depending on how quick that snap is of the car, and if it
snaps.
The angle, exactly.
The angle. Yeah, no doubt about it. Tough one for Christian Bogle. It hasn't been a great weekend for him. He'll put this one in the books and look forward to the road course in Indianapolis on the second week of May.
Well,
I was just going to reset the top 5. Michael Keene, Rasmussen, Eves, Holden, and McElroy.
When we come by, there will be 9 to go. 9 to go when they come by to take green. We see the pace car already off the grid onto pit lane, and here comes the field screaming out of turn number 14. Darren Keene leads him down.
We talked all about the start, and how is it for Keene? He's going to keep the car on the outside. Pretty decent start, but Rasmussen right there. It will be a deep move. He's into the braking zone. Rasmussen not close enough. Down to the inside goes Eves. He has a look as well. Otherwise, pretty clean. A little further back, I want to say that was Cabrera looking to the inside of Jose Sierra. He locked up the right front of it. You could see Cabrera was looking at the apex trying to get inside of Sierra. Cabrera and Sierra, the two Mexican drivers, 9th and 10th.
Boy, Braden Eves really defending that inside. Zach Holden looking to the outside. Not a lot of room in that complex. Turns 4, 5, 6, and 7. They come now to the right-hander of 7. The important corner now, turns 8 and turns 9.
You can see those cars dancing around as they transition through from turns number 7 over to 8 and 9. There's a big wiggle there. That's Alex Barron dropping the rear. You can see the track there, how it kind of the crown goes down. The car just wants to rotate naturally, so the drivers have to be very ginger applying the throttle.
Boy, Zach Holden putting all kinds of pressure over yesterday's Race 1 winner, Braden Eves. That's the battle for 3rd.
How about that fight as well for the 7th position? Cameron Shields. Oh, there's trouble there. Driver wide, that's Rasmussen. He misses going into turn number 14. I think that allows Eves to make his way in. That's a battle for the lead. They went back and forth for the lead. Keen now to the inside, Rasmussen to the outside. Here they come into turn number 1. Rasmussen on the outside, Keen to try to pitch him down into turn number 2. It's still the lead. I thought that was another pass, but indeed, that was Rasmussen who had been able to go through the inside. He got the pass done on Keen, but pushed wide on the exit of turn 14.
And now Braden Eves on the attack with Rasmussen. That's Eves on the outside. Zach Holden all over the rear wing of Braden Eves for 3rd.
I was trying to pick up that battle between Alex Barron and Cameron Shields, the Australian driver for Newman Walks Racing, all over the gearbox of Barron. That's for P7. Shields making his debut weekend here, and it has looked very good so far. Shields running P7, going to work on the Legacy Autosport driver, Alex Barron. Battle for the lead. Keen, Rasmussen, and Eves.
There goes Holden around Braden Eves. He got a great run out of turn number 9 and got it down into that kink. Great passes. Now Braden Eves battles back.
They crisscross them on the exit. When you go deep into that corner, the car's going to push wide. You got to get out of it a little bit. Holden took the spot for a second, but look at them all stacking up. Hunter McElroy back in there. Add in Hunter McElroy, add in Colin Kaminsky. Look at this fight in USF 2000. I am in love with this battle. 23 at Kaminsky. He's now got Barron looking to the inside. Barron side by side through turn number 1 over to turn number 2. Who's going to get it? Barron's going to come across the bow from left to right. Or right to left, rather. He takes the position away.
That was a nice pass by Alex Barron.
And it was also respectful for Kaminsky. He could have forced the issue there. Both drivers could have been in trouble. Side by side again into 4.
It's interesting to watch some of the lines as they come down to turn 4. You'll see some drivers swing way wide to the outside. Some will dive down to the inside. The line's done into turn 4. Interesting as people get in defensive mode, trying to get a run out of turn number 3. Darren Keene, as we have a caution on the circuit. Second caution of the race, full course caution.
7 laps down, Michael, or 8 laps to go, 17 down. I think we were just setting up for a good battle there between Cameron Shields and Kaminsky. But that's all for naught now. We'll stack them back up and redo this again. Pace car going to head out to the front of the grid to pick them up as the drivers stream out of turn number 10 over to 11 and 12. Well, that was interesting as they now come into the final corner. You'll get a good look at these cars as they rotate through. There's a driver right there. Michael, we got a driver spinning on the outside of turn number 14. I think that may be Manuel Cabrera.
Yeah.
That's Cabrera in the exclusive Autosport entry, just trying to get on power too early, coming into turn number 14 potentially. He goes around. He was having a good run, too. Worked his way into the top 10. He'll fall down to 18th. Cabrera will go back to work trying to get forward. Darren Keene, your leader. Christian Rasmussen, he and Keene going back and forth. Braden Eves, he and Hunter McElroy. Zach Holden worked his way into 3rd at one point, made that deep move into turn number 10. But when you make that move into 10, you're obviously holding that brake, then slowly rolling on a throttle. Eves, a veteran top-level kart racing driver. He won in F4. He's won in F1600. Checked up, got the car turned, back on the throttle early, and was able to beat him at turn number 11. Textbook over-under after an aggressive inside pass.
You allow that pass to happen on you because you know you have, but you have to let them clear you. So it's almost like a sucker's hole move. You let them get in there, you let them get in deep, knowing that you already have that corner figured out.
You can't hold the outside. This is not going to work. Driver in the pit lane right now, real quick, guys. The 73, Cameron Shields in the pit lane. What? He was running strongly in 8th position, was trying to go at Colin Kaminsky. They're looking at the left rear, like the potential damage to the car. It was some pretty aggressive racing coming through there. And the Newman Walks Racing crew heading out to have a look at the left rear of the USF 17 of Cameron Shields. We'll see if they can't determine whether or not they can potentially just bend it back quickly and get him back out there. Team manager Brian Hallahan going to come down off the box to have a look. He's pulling the computer down. That is not a good sign if he's coming down. Unless he's just trying to plug in here real quickly. We're looking to see whether or not Shields is getting out of the car. He is not. They are going to work trying to get this thing fixed up for Shields. If indeed they get him back on the track, you got to believe he'd be able to work his way forward again. Had a good run in round number 1. But again, Cameron Shields making his debut here on the road to Indy. They continue to go to work on the car. Here they come out of the final corner. They see him coming. I don't think they're close enough to get him back out yet. He may lose a lap here. Yeah, they got to get this thing fixed correctly. You know, they want him out there, but
there's no urgency right now.
No.
They're looking at that left rear, and
they may even be changing something as well. I can't see any parts coming off it. Road to Indy officials there as well. They're going to make sure he doesn't leave unless it's correct. But nonetheless, Cameron Shields going to drop a lap. He'll go down to P17.
2019 has finally arrived, and with it, a new batch of global racing talent gathers to climb the final step of the Road to Indy ladder, the 2019 Indy Lights Championship. As 2018 Lights Champ Pata Award and runner-up Colton Herta rise to chase NTT IndyCar Series dreams, a new set of drivers takes the grid. Sunny Florida skies and Gulf Coast breeze greet them on the streets of St. Petersburg, a circuit tough on rookies and veterans alike.
Heavily damaged.
Have a yellow Colton Herta in the wall.
Will rookies Oliver Askew and Robert McGinnis give Andretti Autosport back-to-back championship titles?
Pato O'Ward has won the title.
Can reigning Indy Pro 2000 champion and Dutch prodigy
Michael Young, and we have 4 to go. Pretty good run into turn number 1. Jose Sierra trying to make a move on Colin Kaminsky. Locked it up last time by. I have a feeling that Bruno Tomasella may have gotten by, but Keane and Rasmussen, the battle with 4 to go.
Braden Eves running in that third position. Hunter McElray, Zach Holden with a great battle. That was a battle for fourth position. Again, 4 remaining, 3 this time by. The field makes their way through turn number 10. The last time by, Darren Keen's advantage over Rasmussen, 0.5 of a second, 1/2 of a second. But the big battle brewing is that Braden Eves battle. He is now gapped Hunter McElray. Zach Holden on the charge for McElray. That's the battle for fourth.
Zach Holden, another driver who does not have a full season budget put in place. This could be just a one-off, but if he has a couple of good races here, he will very likely be back on the racetrack as he tries to go to his home state of Indiana. He tries to move to the outside there, a little bit of McElray, but Hunter McElray locks it up going in. So good run here now for Zach Holden. He's trying to go to work on the Aussie. Hunter McElray, the winner of the Mazda USF 2000 $200,000 scholarship, elbows up right now, trying to hold off the young Indiana driver. Holden putting all the pressure here on McElray, but this is one of those races you don't want to make the mistake. Don't throw it away here now. Alex Barron trying to recover from that DNF yesterday, the corkscrew barrel roll in turn number 1 at the very start of the race. Colin Kaminsky 7th, Sierra in 8th. Manuel Suleiman started in 19th. He's up to 9th. It's been a great recovery. The points he's getting going to bring him into the top 5.
We talked about Darren Keen's run yesterday. Manuel Suleiman doing the same today. That restart certainly advantageous for him, making it up to that 9th position. Darren Keen gapping now Rasmussen by 0.6 of a second. But that gap looks to have closed a little bit as Braden Eves starts to join the battle. Good battle going down into turn number 1. 0.6 of a second last time by for Darren Keen. That gap now still 0.6, but he gained a few hundreds.
Yeah, you see the leaders working their way through turn number 1 now. There's that fight a little further back between Holden and Barron. That's for 5th and 6th. You know, Michael, was just 2 laps remaining. Darren Keen, he's looking to get that monkey off his back. He had good speed last year, but it seemed like at least one car from every team hit him in 2018, and it wasn't his fault. He got driven over at Road America. He was making a great move around the outside at Mid-Ohio. The driver inside pushed out and took him out. It seemed like every race someone else took out Darren Keen. He's with Cape Motorsports now, qualifies on the pole. This would be huge for the young Florida driver to finally get that race win.
And he started at the back of the field yesterday, made it back up to the 7th position after a fantastic drive on the pole today. This is the momentum he's looking for. The field makes their way through turn number 10 and 11, now through 12. They'll swing wide through 13 and 14. White flag is out. Final time by for Darren Keen.
Christian Rasmussen needs to turn things up if he wants to score victory here in round number 2 of the USF 2000 program. He gets a great run down the straightaway. He's into the slipstream. He'll break deep. Not enough to get by Darren Keen, who's hitting every mark he needs here today. Keen leading the way in the Cape Motorsports Deuce number 2. Coming out of turns 1, 2, 3, and 4. And again, you can't run those defensive lines. That's what had trouble for Keen early. He ran the defensive line, and that allowed Rasmussen to get by on the outside in turn 4. He's got to run good lines now. He's got a couple of car lengths here. They'll work their way into that tighter part of the racetrack.
Darren Keen cannot make a mistake as Christian Rasmussen starting to put the pressure on. They make their way exiting now turn number 9. That long Bayshore drive through the kink and the entrance to turn number 10. One of the last opportunities for Rasmussen to get by. He closes in on the rear wing of Keen.
Oh, he's right there on the rear wing for sure. Mike Tried coming over into turn number 13. Here they come out of 10, through 11 and 12, over to the 13-14 complex. He's going to run the inside. Look, oh, side by side. Keen goes around, and contact as well. Keen spins in turn number 14. Braden Eves is going to win this. Braden Eves back-to-back wins here in St. Petersburg. What a finish in USF 2000. Darren Keen, you just got to feel for Darren Keen right now. Where is he going to fall to? Is he actually stuck off the racetrack over there in turn number 14? He tried to pinch the inside and I think got back on the throttle early enough that the car came back around on him. I don't know if there was contact from Rasmussen there. It may have been some contact from the back. I know that they made contact when he spun. Do you think that Rasmussen got in back of him as they got to the corner?
I don't think Rasmussen was there. I think Darren Keen had some oversteer. I think that when he got on the throttle, the back end step, and Rasmussen tried to maneuver around him and just pile drived into the side.
What a shame. They are going to finish 14th and 15th, respectively. Darren Keene.
Here's a replay.
Okay, let's have a replay. They come in here. Darren's running the bottom line. He doesn't want to open it up.
He's already losing the car right there.
It's already, yeah, you're right. He's already lost that. It's already starting to rotate. As he got down to the bottom, he puts the wheel into the thing that's already comes around. He's locked up the brakes. What happens is, as he gets around here, it continues that forward progress. Rasmussen can't get around quite as much, just hooks the left rear, and Braden Eves all of a sudden sees open racetrack. Hunter McElray as well, and Zach Holden is going to bring the BN Racing Machine into the third spot. That moves Alex Barron to fourth, Colin Kaminsky to fifth. Manuel Suleiman is going to go up, I believe, into third in points. It's going to be Eves, McElray, and Suleiman, your top three heading to Indianapolis. Jose Sierra in seventh, Bruno Tomaselli eighth, Reese Gold ninth, and Matt Round-Garrido from dead last. A drive-through penalty up into 10th position for Matt Round-Garrido. Looking at the points, though, Darren Keene with 24, Rasmussen 26. I'm telling you, he's now, 38 points behind.
It all came unraveled for Darren Keene in 11 and 12 when he made that left-hander setting up for turn 13, came in way too shallow, so he was already near the curbing, so trying to save the car and to keep it from, and it just stepped out. He got in the turn way too early, unfortunately, and that caused the car to step out. And for Rasmussen, he nearly had the car not continued to roll backwards. I think Rasmussen would have potentially still had an opportunity to win the race because he was still rolling some speed.
At least a podium.
Exactly.
But he was trying to get to the outside, that forward momentum, even though the brakes were locked up, kept pushing it backwards. And you said it right when we saw the replay. That wasn't even like mid-corner or exit oversteer. That was right on the way in. As he started to turn that thing in, it already started. That wasn't even throttle oversteer. He was just trying to get it wound up in the momentum as he turned in. Just had that car rotating. I've gutted for Darren Keene, who had a good shot at it. But Darren's got the mindset. I told you this earlier in the race. He's going to be able to sit down, put this behind him, and look forward to the month of May at Indianapolis. He'll have to come back strong. A couple of race wins there will change everything. Darren Keene knows he's got a great car here now. But again, what a good run. You need to stay out of trouble to win these races. Braden Eves, back-to-back jacks here at St. Petersburg. He wins over Hunter McElray and Zach Holden. Alex Barron in fourth, Colin Kaminsky in fifth. Four different teams in the top four. Cape Motorsports, Hunter McElray with Pabst Racing, Holden with BN Racing, and Alex Barron with Legacy Autosport. He comes back from his issue yesterday to be P4. This thing's still wide open. Braden Eves, of course, with a couple wins. He's looking great right now. Everybody else going to have to fight back before it's all said and done.
And what
Eves,
about,
you want to go through?
Well, Christian Rasmussen, about that run. I mean, he's running second, had the lead for a while, thinking I could still maybe take a shot at him out of the final turn, but ran a smart, attacked when he needed to attack, and just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Did not force the issue. It was not an error on his part. Got collected and went from a podium, as you had said, all the way down to 15th place.
And what are you doing, right? The whole idea is to push. Like, push the driver into the mistake. He pushed enough. Keene made that little error too early on the entry. He just didn't get to capitalize on all the work he did for 25 laps trying to push Darren Keene into a mistake. As it goes, on the big screen, you see it. Braden Eves, the race winner. He goes back-to-back here at St. Petersburg. Hunter McElray in second, the Australian driver doing a great job. Zach Holden, the Indiana native, in third. Alex Barron from France in fourth. Colin Kaminsky fifth. Manuel Suleiman started 19th, drives up to sixth. He's definitely back in the championship battle. Bruno Tomaselli, another top 10 finish. He was sixth yesterday, seventh today. A great run for the Pabst Racing driver. Reese Gold, who was down, I think, probably 16th or 17th at one point. 10th yesterday. He's 8th today, 14 years of age. Matt Round-Garrido had a drive-through penalty early. He stayed out of trouble. Used the yellows to be able to get himself back in the top 10. And that last driver within that top 10, indeed, BN Racing's Anthony Famularo. That was an exciting one for sure.
Yeah, it was.
Indy Lights next up. I got to bolt. I got to get down to do driver introductions.
There's going to be a lot of discussion over that race for the remainder of today. Good finish, an exciting finish, an unfortunate one for Darren Keene and Christian Rasmussen. They were relegated to 14th and 15th after running up front the entire event. The final corner on the final lap And Braden Eves comes home with a second victory of this 2019 campaign. Hunnell McElray, Zach Holden, they are your podium finishers. We will have our victory podium celebration down to the exit of turn number 1. There's a victory podium stage there.